yo, these are the top 5 mistakes on why you're still skinny. So number one is, I'm sure you already know, but it's afraid to bulk. So a lot of people, they want to put on muscle mass, they want to get big, but they don't want to get big. Or they want to put on muscle mass, but they just don't want, they're too scared of putting on any fat. They're too scared of becoming too large, I guess. If you want to see the gains, you gotta bulk. If you want to add anything to your body, if you want to add muscle, if you want to add strength, it's got to come from some external source. You can't miracle that shit onto your body. So you got to bulk. So in order to get big, you need to eat big. The battle is won in the kitchen. So, if you're skinny, fat, whatever, bro, forget about the fat, dude. Just bulk. There's a huge difference between bulking up to filling out your frame to putting on a respectable amount of muscle mass so that you look good, you feel strong. There's a difference between that and becoming a giant fucking mass monster, like a 300-pound gorilla. There's a gap, it's not going to accidentally happen. People train their whole entire life. They take drugs to get to this point. You're not going to get there. So don't be afraid to bulk. Just do it. So the next reason why you're still stuck is because of your mentality. So you got to actually believe that you're going to win. You got to believe that you're going to see the results that you want to see. When you believe it, you kind of can see the reality of it happening. You have to have a positive mental state in order to actually achieve this goal. You can't have any limiting beliefs. You can't be like, thinking negatively, you do one workout and it doesn't, and you don't see the results. You have to maintain that mentality of it's going to work, that you believe it's going to happen. Think of it like the gym is going to define you as a person. Think of it like, so however well you do in the gym, that's how well you're going to do in life. That's another way to look at it. If you can approach it with that kind of aspect, then you're less likely to fail. You got to hit the gym with some kind of urgency, right? Imagine like the gym was your whole life. You'd go, you'd make sure you go. You wouldn't, miss any days. You would do your absolute best to see the results. So in that same regard, hit the gym with that same intensity because, it might not seem like it, but it can really reflect in your life in other areas as well. All right, the next reason is you're not training correctly. So a lot of people have this issue. I think the reason why is because they secretly, like subconsciously, their brain knows that training for size is a lot harder than training randomly or training for strength. But you gotta train for size if you want to put on size. It's as simple as that. So a lot of people, they're doing strength training. They're training in lower rep ranges, 6 to 8, 3 reps, singles, whatever. If you want to train for size for most of your exercise, you got to do 10 to 12 reps. You got to aim for that target. It's a lot more reps than you might realize. It's the way you're going to achieve true failure, and it's also the way you're going to have more time under tension. So these are two important factors that you're going to need in order to put on more muscle mass. You're also not recovering properly. A lot of people are doing 6 to 7 days a week. They think more is better. So you need to recover in order to actually realize the gains. So you need to train really hard, yes, but you also need to recover. So, have a proper routine where you're going maximum 5 days a week. The last reason is too much weight. So it might seem counterintuitive, but if you try to do too much weight, you're not going to do as many reps, yes, but also your form is going to break down, and you're just basically going to use your momentum and you're going to use your joints to lift the weights. You don't want to do that. You want to train your muscles. So let's say we're doing bicep curls, right? We're doing bicep curls. Like I want to have the weight, and can I see this? Yeah. Slowly curl. You see how I get the full extension, right? It's like my biceps working the whole way up and the whole way down. A lot of people, I have my friend, he's like, whoa, only doing 30s. And you take the weight, you do like 40s and go like this. Like he literally, his wrist would literally flick like this. It's like, bro, you didn't get any stimulus from that. That didn't help you at all. So you gotta train correctly, you know what I mean? You gotta do the weights at an appropriate level. So you gotta train correctly. Like hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, please ask me in the comments below. But there's a lot of factors that go into training for size. I made a full video on it, but the weight doesn't matter as much as how many reps you do and how correctly you do the reps. All right, the next reason why you're still skinny is consistency. So you got to delay gratification. You're not going to see the results, in a few days, in 2 weeks, in 1 week. It's not going to happen. You need to be able to delay your gratification for a few months in order to actually start to see the results compound. You need the consistency. You absolutely must have the consistency in order to see the results. If you haven't seen results, ask yourself, have you gone to the gym every single day on your schedule for the last 3 weeks? If the answer is no, then that's probably why you're stuck. You're making excuses. So the gym, you got to make excuses to go to the gym. You can't be making excuses to skip the gym. It just can't happen. You're not disciplined enough. You gotta reframe. You gotta look at it as the results that you want are on the other side of a few months of hard work. If you can think it like that, maybe it'll motivate you to stay consistent. You need to maintain that same level of work ethic through a long period of time. It cannot just be, a short period of time. It can't be 1 week or a few days. You need to maintain that level of consistency. All right, the last big reason that I can tell you is that your effort is just not high enough. You need to push very, very hard in the gym. I'll be very honest. You need to push very, very hard, especially when you're training for size. It might be the hardest form of training because training till failure, you need to train to failure. And training till failure is a very difficult thing to do physically and mentally. It's very challenging. It hurts. Your intensity needs to be high. Your aggression, I can tell just by looking at most people in the gym, they're not going with the right amount of effort, at least if their goal is to, grow muscle size, which I assume most of the guys in there are trying to do. You need to, if you were to watch me do a set, you can see, like, I'm literally struggling. Like, my face is like, it's changing, right? I'm doing my best. I'm giving it my all to get, move the weight. Might sound cringe, but that's what you need to do. I'm gonna be very honest as well. Most skinny guys look a little bit soft. I don't know if you guys are not capable of pushing yourself hard enough, or you just lack the motivation, but you need to actually find that somewhere within you to push very, very hard. You need to, listen to music, drink some caffeine, get into a mindset where you're going to give it your absolute all. You need to actually struggle with the weight in order to grow, in order to see the results. So I'm going to give you a little cue here. It might be a little bit unethical. It might be something that you've never really heard from anyone before, but if you've been going to the gym for a few months to a year and you've never been injured, not once, you've never had any tweaks, you've never had any, pains, injuries, and you've been going for a long time and you're still not seeing results, yes, it is possible there might be some other external factor that's preventing this. But in my experience, more than likely, in fact, almost certainly, you're probably just not pushing hard enough. I'm going to be very honest. You're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. People who push themselves hard enough kind of understand that going to the gym every once in a while, maybe once a year, twice a year, it's an inevitability. You might get injured, you might tweak something, you might need to sit out for a bit. When you train to failure, when you push yourself very, very hard, you're getting close to a point where, your body's about to break down, right? Like, this is close to the failing point. So, of course, it's an inevitability. We accept this fact. I'm not saying it's good to go get injured or go and get injured now, but it's a good cue. I don't think anyone talks about it. If you've never been injured and you're not seeing the results, maybe you've not pushed yourself hard enough. Now, I'm not saying go and get injured, but I'm saying try to maybe push yourself harder. Find a way to maybe motivate yourself more, drink some caffeine, get a little bit angrier, do something, and push yourself. You might notice a new stimulus. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. That's the end of this video. I hope you liked the video. Check out my Discord. Like the video if you did. Comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're not already. I'll see you guys next time. Yo, guys, I made a new Discord server. You guys can join it. Ask me any question anytime. I'll always answer your questions. It's there. I'm starting a new community to try and grow it. Create some like-minded people. Get the gym community going. Get the bulkers. Get all of us to kind of motivate each other, hold each other accountable. So if that interests you, click the link down below and join my server.